Let's give them something to talk about. I see the energy running out. I got a planet to run around. Okay. You ain't do nothing but run your mouth. No, I don't want to be humble now. You doubted me.
I feel like I nailed that one today. I was like,
it's a good start for the Monday morning.
We keep saying this when we don't do it, is make a checklist. Check. Go through all of those items.
If we were to have a checklist, we're missing less of those checks.
We could maybe start on time too. We really don't count on anyone to watch this live. I'm glad when people do, but we just, because I also, one of the things that helps me be conversant is to be able to have casual conversation going into this.
Yeah.
But also not being stressed about starting on a specific time.
Yeah.
If I'm on a very specific agenda, it's going to be more halting and less fluid. I believe, maybe not. Maybe the pressure will force me to be more fluid. And
I mean, so far our feedback's been pretty good.
Yeah, I know people said they watch it. People are just being nice to us.
That's maybe part of it. Although Chris did call me out. He's like, "Fucking Craig, I'm not 50." Did he call you out on it yet?
Who's it, Chris?
Chris Graham.
Oh,
last week you had mentioned something about that.
Yeah, I did. Did I say who said that?
He called me out on the next day. He's not 50.
Okay, good.
So he's listening now. So that's
sorry,
that's
Chris. Yeah, Chris is 39.
Yeah,
yeah, bro. It's a problem when you like. He's lost a bunch of weight. He looks amazing, and he's in his number. Well, maybe it's some resentment on my part because he's moving up on Sugar Watt. He beats me periodically on Sugar Watt now. No, it's his fitness has improved. He's recovering from a shoulder injury
well, I think his shoulder thing, once he actually got it diagnosed and they figured out it wasn't anything torn, it was just
this is wrong bite.
Yeah.
But he's gotten really good. But one of the things that happens when you lose weight quickly is, and I noticed, you do look a little haggard, which makes you look older. Like it does.
You're saying he looks haggard.
This is not coming out right. What I mean is, no, you do it. When I at the beginning of last year, I got really lean, was eating super clean after the whole COVID experience, and just really focused on diet and everything. And I admitted to myself that I was looking a little haggard, right? Because you lose weight in the face, you look a little gaunt. And it takes a while before your body essentially adjusts, and then you start retaining the right amount of water and everything else.
Yeah.
And then then you start to look better. At first, you'll look a little gaunt, right? Because your skin's going to hang a little bit. And it takes a little while for all that to tighten up.
That muscle to kind of refill in, right?
Yeah. There is zero science to anything that I just said.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure. That was purely observational, anecdotal data.
I can see that though. It makes sense.
Backed by a one person blind study.
It's a triple blind
study. Peer reviewed in this last 30 seconds by Jamie Lee. #science.
Yeah. Follow science.
So we have a bunch of stuff that we can go off on today.
Yeah.
But I saw Jamie Lee came to the West Coast region meeting. CrossFit is doing a tour to all the different affiliate regions around the country. And included in that is a presentation. What included in ours on the West Coast was a presentation from Don Fall, the CEO of CrossFit, and then some additional presentations from other people within the organization that were interesting, but not as. And I can talk about those. I don't want to opine on them for many of the affiliate owners who are newer to CrossFit. Those were very valuable for me. The more experienced CrossFit owners and the OGs, we've been there, done that with some of those things, but that's okay.
It's a refresh.
The real opportunity for us, OG affiliate owners, was to get together ourselves and talk amongst one another. Have the opportunity to talk to Don Fall, Adrian Bosman, Dave Castro, who was there briefly. And did I say Don Fall, the CEO?
And Nicole Carroll.
Oh, of course, Nicole. I spent a lot of time with Nicole Carroll, which was, that to me is a real privilege, and it's exciting to be able to talk to her because she's the person behind the magic of CrossFit content,
which is amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I talked to her about that. I'll side note on that. I asked Nicole Carroll. I said, "Did you write that for yourself?" And again, sometimes I say things that don't come out right, and I didn't. I wasn't implying that she wouldn't have. I mean, what I was trying to apply is it is so well written. It reads really well. It captures the essence of CrossFit. It says it in a voice that is clearly coming from someone that has years of experience in CrossFit. And it touches upon all of the right stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the series of articles that are in the magic of CrossFit content. I'm a little irritated that it's hard to find on CrossFit.com.
That's also CrossFit.com. I feel like it's gotten.
Well, it's not. Yeah, that's not her fault. That's CrossFit.com.
Yeah, that's the website.
Yeah, they need to organize the website better.
Yeah.
Like her stuff and those articles that she's written. I think there's
Should be
4
right
of them
up
now.
front.
Should be read. It should be in a place that's easily accessible. Now it is if you go to media and you scroll through. But the problem is it's one of the things they did that's cool is that they produced a YouTube accompaniment video that goes with it that essentially says the same thing. And some of those are narrated by her.
Yeah.
I think
so far I think all of like the short clip ones are all her reading.
Yeah, her reading her content.
Yeah.
And it's really good. But that's interspersed in the articles themselves on the CrossFit website, so that it's difficult to find her actual fully written content, which is really good. I put it in my email, and it's the 3 of them. I got to put my glasses on to read them. Here, I'll just enlarge my screen. The 3 pieces that she published is defining the formula, understanding the methodology, and the CrossFit ethos. And then she says the next one she says is her favorite one, her best one is the coach. So I'm looking forward to that one. But anyway, I would encourage every affiliate owner, and I'll be honest with you, it should be mandatory reading for every affiliate owner. They should send it out with an email and say, "Hey, read this," and click the box when you're done.
Honestly, it's some of the best content CrossFit's put out in years, in my opinion.
Right. And I got off on a tangent on this one. So it was a pleasure to talk to Nicole Carroll. Going back to the presentations itself for the day, Don Falls spoke to all of the affiliates, and I was a little irked, and he's just promoting on Instagram, but he was, there's 200 affiliate owners. There's about 100, and I would guess 115 to 120 owners or co-owners there. There were probably about another 40 to 60 coaches and or head coaches, managers, or friends of the affiliate owner that were in attendance. And so in all, in this meeting that included invitations to affiliates from all the way from Washington all the way down to
Hawaii,
Southern California, and Hawaii.
Yeah, CrossFit Upcountry was out there.
There were about, I think, 85 to 90 affiliates represented.
Okay.
Is in my estimation, based upon my experience with the meeting that we had here. You get multiple people coming representing one affiliate.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty good. And it's a good percentage of the affiliates that are out here on this West Coast.
And this was the first one of the whole tour, right?
Yeah, I believe so. That's right. Of this new tour that he's doing, and going out and sharing the missions.
Summit.
Right. And I enjoyed Don Fall's presentation to the extent that we haven't had something like that in a while from CrossFit. Essentially telling us what CrossFit plans to do and what their goal is. I wish it was less corporate.
Yeah.
But that speaks to, I think, Don's extensive experience in the corporate side and presentations to investment bankers and the investors at CrossFit. And he said that this is similar to a presentation that I made to.
Yeah, he did say that up front too.
Yeah, made to the investors when he first was being interviewed for the job.
Yeah.
And those things do require, especially with investment companies, because I have spent a long time in that field, and may have made many presentations to investment management teams. You do need to have slides.
Yeah.
You do need to
have the bullet points.
Bullet points. You do need to stay on track, and you do need to back up your data, and you need to be good about it. And with the contrast being that in the investment world, especially when you're seeking capital for an investment, you need to have data. They're more impressed by data and facts, and they will discount a promotional sales passionate pitch. Those are discounted because it's often seen as a mask for issues that you may have with your product or service or company. And so they want numbers, and they want facts, and they want to know how you're going to get there. So that his presentation leaned in that direction in terms of its style, though which I think doesn't play as well with the CrossFit affiliate owner community,
especially the OGs.
In my opinion, especially the OGs.
Yeah,
the OGs are used to a very knowledgeable, passionate individual getting up with super freaking smart individual in Greg Glassman getting up and speaking from the hip. And as Nicole Carroll said to me, he would say the same things over and over and over again, and therefore it was effortless, and it was fluid, and it came out with, and he could add and embellish, or he could add to it and change the terminology, or change the
flow.
Yeah, change the flow of it to suit the audience.
Yeah.
Whether he's speaking to the Harvard Divinity School,
reading the crowd.
Yeah,
right?
reading the crowd. Yeah, because he knew the content so well. He said the content so many times.
Yeah.
So he's at the Harvard Divinity School. He knows what they want to hear. When he's with a group of affiliate owners, he knows what they want to say. When he's in an L1, speaking
really
L1,
good point.
he knows what they want to say because he said it so many times. Don's not there yet.
Yeah.
This is the first one. So it's a little rough. And it was pretty damn good for being the first time.
I'm sure they get some feedback off of kind of how this whole thing went too.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see if they get honest feedback back.
Yeah.
Too many people are scared to give honest feedback.
How do you get better if you don't get honest feedback though? Like, I mean, it's just like in the gym, you're like teaching somebody how to do a power clean. If their elbow's not coming through, you don't just say, "Oh, okay, that was better." It's like, no, we need to fix that because otherwise you're going to build on shitty movement patterns.
I'm getting PTSD from my level 2. That's good. And then the level 2 coach stopped me.
I think stop saying that's good because it's not good.
Yeah, he goes, "Really, Craig? Was that good?" No. Well, then why'd you tell him it was good? Because it was close, and I wanted to make him feel positive. Good, and I wanted him to move along.
We're gonna move on to the next step here.
Oh my God, the LT coaches were awesome. They could just pick you apart.
It's awesome, man. But
that really was.
And that just comes back to the whole thing of honest feedback.
Yeah, is super important. Oh, it made me a better coach.
Yeah. And hopefully it makes them a better company if they're getting honest feedback.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so the mission is, as he stated it in this presentation. First, let me say one thing before I keep preloading this thing. People are going to get pissed off. Turn it off. Just
get to the point.
Just get to the point, Craig. Sorry. I feel like this content that I'm about to discuss, you're hearing my interpretation of it. And I was in the very back, and I couldn't see the slides very well. I could hear him very well. And then I would turn to someone to the right or left and I'd say, how did you say it? And I was taking notes on my phone, which, I'm a 60-year-old man with, slow thumbs and not good eyes.
Trying to read
trying to read
slide that's 50, 40 feet away.
So you're getting my notes of the presentation. So if there's, small errors or small, it's because of the interpretation. So which hammers home the point that CrossFit and Don Fall, the CEO, should, and the CrossFit marketing team should put this content out now.
Yeah.
in the format that they want people to see.
Yeah.
With the words that they want people to read.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have put it out as soon as
first thing this morning.
Well, yeah, as soon as he stepped on the stage,
Yeah.
they should have put it out to the public so that we weren't the first source of that data.
Yeah.
Or that content.
That information. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to get skewed by everybody. You know, you heard it maybe a little bit different than I did, and the guy over on the far end of the room heard it differently than I did and you did, and so it's going out and the message is being delivered in a mixed format. I think overall we all got it, and we'll probably get it right, but there's different variations of it they're going to get out there, and CrossFit could have controlled that with a really professional message delivered by the Don himself.
Yeah.
Or the CrossFit marketing team, and maybe they'll do that.
They might be doing that in like upcoming ones, especially after somebody might see this podcast and hear that comment like, oh, shit, we dropped the ball. We should have shared something before somebody else did. Yeah.
Or I could get an email from CrossFit saying, stop talking about it, stop publishing it, you dumbass. We're going to do it.
First to it. Come on.
I am not a news company. Let me just say that right now. I have no desire for a media pass, but I do want to fill affiliate owners to know, like people ask me, our members ask me, our coaches want to know what he said anyway. So the first thing he said, CrossFit's mission, as I interpret it, is become the recognized global leader in advancing health and performance. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I believe that myself, that we can be that, and that we are the absolute best fitness methodology in terms of delivering results.
I feel like we are there. It's just a matter of continuing to get the stories out so people can actually acknowledge that.
That's right. To really and have people. We have had in the past. I don't know if we do now or not, but we have had in the past a lot of critics of CrossFit.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they're still out there.
Our competitors, and
they're still very
specifically
much out there.
Those that were associated with the NSCA.
Yeah.
And then any other organization that Greg Glassman chose to go after, like they will rally their forces through their media outlets and their partners to try and undermine. And I think it is up to CrossFit. CrossFit has to fight, right? It has to be, and I'm prepared to in any conversation I get into, and anytime I'm online, I'll be voracious about it. I do like that one of the things that Don said, and I see it repeated often, is that anybody can do CrossFit. Anybody can, but CrossFit is not for everybody. I think they're stealing that line from Ratatouille, by the way. Anyone can cook.
I feel like we've been hearing that.
Right. Turn on the other one. All right. So but anyway, it 100% applies to CrossFit.
Yeah.
Let me see how you look. Oh yeah,
that looks better.
Yeah, you still look good.
I feel like that saying has been around forever.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Like it's not a unique saying, but it certainly applies to CrossFit.
It applies to CrossFit, and to say that it's not for everybody, it's not for the person that wants to put in the work. That's where it should end.
It's not for the what?
It is for everybody. CrossFit is for everybody,
right?
Except for the person that doesn't want to put in the work, right?
Yeah.
So if you're willing to put in the work and really willing to, grind through some of this stuff, whether it's modified or as prescribed, you're still going to get some benefit from it.
That's right. But anyway, so they're going to do that, and they're going to get there by being the most trusted provider for training.
Yeah.
That I love. And with the emphasis on training for coaches.
Yes.
And that's something that admittedly, Savon is promoted too. The CrossFit certification program is unbelievable.
Yeah,
and I get genuinely upset when I see commentary online about, well, all you need is a weekend L1 and you can coach CrossFit. And they think that's being qualified. And my answer to that is, you're fucking right, it is. Like, you are going to go to that certification and you're going to learn about an amazing methodology, and you're going to get enough tool set, enough tools, and enough instruction so that you can teach your mother how to deadlift.
Yep.
which will reduce her likelihood of getting a back injury the next time she bends over to pick up something on the ground.
Or help build up bone density.
Yeah, or help build bone density. Like, you can get enough to instruct other people at an L1 certification.
Yeah.
But and the training certification, but that is just the surface of everything that CrossFit offers on the certification. Tip of the iceberg. From the level 1 to level 2, level 3, the level 4, which is really out there.
I'm looking forward to sign up for that one right now.
And the level 2s that come out of level 2s are every single coach here at Diablo that to level 2 is a better coach.
Yeah.
And it's so that being and I'm glad that, and I hope that CrossFit really does a good job of promoting themselves, and they missed a major opportunity, I believe, in settling their lawsuit with the NSCA, who was attacking CrossFit illegitimately.
Yeah.
And unfoundedly.
I mean, they were legitimately found committing fraud.
Yeah, that's right. Like, on a massive scale.
Yeah. I mean, the judge was like, I haven't seen anything like this in 25 years of being on this table.
That's right.
It's
not only the fraud that they committed, but then destroying the data, destroying their emails, willfully destroying the data so that more wouldn't be found.
I remember it was like they had people there like searching and scrubbing all the information to find out, and they're literally shredding stuff as they're doing this.
Right. So then from there, people started to believe the shit that was coming out as a result of that. CrossFit's unsafe. CrossFit's
dangerous.
The trainers after an L1 aren't certified, aren't qualified to teach people to work out. And then people and even CrossFitters started to believe it.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing that irritates me more than that.
Yeah.
And it does irritate me when I hear affiliates complain that the perception of CrossFit is that it's unsafe. Well,
what can you do about that?
What can you do about that?
Yeah. Show people that it's not. It's accessible for anybody.
That's right.
That's all about being a good coach.
I've heard it before, and I can take it down in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Without being an obnoxious, angry asshole when I do it. I can do it nicely too. And it's anything, and I'm just going to, just one way to approach that subject. Because before I did CrossFit, right before I did CrossFit, I was doing a lot of triathlons and marathons. And every year in Austin, there was a series of races that they held there. It was amazing. It was amazing. They turned it into their Austin Marathon into a community event by starting in January with a 1 mile race. And then a few weeks later, a 5K race. And then a few weeks later, a 10K race. And then a half hour building up to the April date.
Yeah.
And they would encourage people to start your training in December and then do the 1 miler, then do the 5K. And there would be these many groups, self-organized groups that would come together as training groups. And a lot of them were down, and this is why Austin is such an amazing town, because it has the Colorado River running through town. And they called it Town Lake, and there was a trail that went around it, and you could do a 2 mile loop, 4 mile loop, 5 mile loop, 10 mile loop. That's cool. Depending upon how far you went down the river and which bridge you crossed. It was really cool.
That's cool.
But it allowed for training and training groups to come together.
Yeah.
And inevitably, those groups would start really, really large. And then they would fall. Just get smaller and smaller and smaller as the weeks and the months went by.
As the distance gets longer.
Right. As the distance gets longer. And one of the biggest issues was injuries. Shin splints. Right. Hip injuries, knee injuries.
Poor mechanics.
We have poor mechanics, right? And then overuse, right? Overtraining. And coming from stone cold.
You wonder if nutrition had anything to do with that.
Well, sure. Nutrition too, right? Yeah. I'm sure it did.
High carbohydrate stuff.
But so my answer being when someone asks it is, it doesn't matter if it's running.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's tennis. Doesn't matter if it's basketball.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's softball. Doesn't matter if it's Little League. It doesn't matter. Any of those sports. If you start out with little instruction, aggressively, and don't work on the mechanics and virtuosity, you're going to get injured.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, at a higher rate, because there are a tremendous amount of statistics, a much higher rate than CrossFit.
Yeah.
Here, you're under the guidance of a coach that's going to help you with the mechanics.
And scale if needed.
And scale if needed.
Yeah.
So leveraging an argument that applies to any sport as to why not to do CrossFit it literally is absurd, and any affiliate should dismiss that the notion and simply work and diligently to overcome it within their own community. It's not here.
Almost every single injury I've come across with other people, where they come into a class like, yeah, I'm just kind of working around a back or a hip thing, or my knees jacked or my shoulders jacked. It's coming from another sport: softball, tennis, golf, like all kinds of stuff. People are getting hurt doing high repetition stuff, and they come back in here and we are able to work around it.
That's right. Yeah. So anyway,
CrossFit.
So the other way we're going to get there is by being scientifically verified, and that I think I'm getting the language wrong. But the point that Don was trying to make is that CrossFit is a proven methodology, and that we have a tremendous amount of data because CrossFit is measurable and repeatable. Every single time there's a workout recorded on
data point.
Yeah, it's a data point. And we know that we see it here by our PR board.
Yep.
The progress that people make in terms of strength and their efficiencies and in gymnastic skills and in their metabolic conditioning and workouts, it shows up on our PR board every month. I got the data. I know it's working.
Yeah.
It is scientifically verifiable. And then making CrossFit, I like this one too. And they're doing it without trying to be woke. It's make CrossFit accessible to everyone. And I agree with that.
100%.
And anybody that walks in here is welcome. Granted, it's intimidating walking in here. It's intimidating walking into any CrossFit gym, frankly, especially if class is going on.
Yeah.
And I always make the case. I tell people, when people walk in here where I'm doing a tour for someone that's new, I'm like, look, you're going to walk in here and you're going to see a whole bunch of people working out, and a lot of them are going to be super fit. And that's because it works. And the classes are full, and people are doing it because it's fun and because of the community that brings it back in. Like, so don't be intimidated by it, because 6 months from now or a year from now, if you come 3 days a week or more, that's going to be you. And then someone's going to walk in here and go, oh, that person really looks like they know what they're doing. They're super fit. I'm not going to be able to train.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to be that person. That's going to be you. Because every person in there's got a backstory.
Yeah.
But anyway, make it accessible to everyone. I agree. Everyone should feel comfortable walking into a CrossFit gym. And I'd like to think that everybody does here. Feels comfortable walking in here, just getting here. And that's the other thing. They did a whole presentation on sales for CrossFit. And at some point in time, simply because I've had a career in sales, I should do some sort of program. But it would only take about 10 minutes for me to do a sales presentation training. And I understand the need to have something like that, especially for newer affiliates, but we don't sell here. I don't give when we do a no sweat intro. Everybody that wants to sign up here, whether you're experienced, and it's annoying for the people that are experienced CrossFit, like, I just want to go to class. Well, tough shit. You're going to go through our no sweat intro, because you're going to learn where everything is in our gym. Yeah. Which is what we do. We walk around and give a tour.
How the flow of class is going to work.
How the flow of class is going to work. Where you find the workout. What apps you need to have. Like, you need to know those things before you go in there. Otherwise, you're an idiot for 3 months, and then you're asking us stupid questions.
Yeah.
So, and everybody gets it, to be honest with you. Everybody gets it, that, they understand, especially after they go through our tour, our no sweat intro. But I don't have a sales script for the staff that are doing it. All I tell them is, think about what CrossFit means to you and how it's changed your life and how exciting it is for you to come here. And when you talk about Diablo and CrossFit, just think of those things.
Yeah.
Sales, and I've learned this over the years, sales is a transfer of emotion. I'm taking my emotion and excitement about it and transferring it to you. That's not going to happen with a script. Now, granted, you can have an outline of your mind. Oh yeah, I need to talk about, what the CrossFit methodology is. Oh yeah, I need to talk about, Diablo's hours. Okay. Yeah.
A couple points,
right? I need to know what those points are, but I need to relate it to me. And I need to tell my story. And if they see my excitement, no matter how crappy my language is, if they see my excitement about it, chances are that's going to rub off on them.
It's the enthusiasm that's going to get people to buy into.
That's right.
Like if you're enthusiastic
transfer of emotion.
and they can see that you're passionate about it, it's hard to say, no, I don't, this isn't for me.
Right.
As long as you're able to acknowledge that maybe this person's super timid or maybe has certain like injuries or, limitations that legitimately might scare them off.
Right.
But being able to, able to develop and build up that rapport and kind of show that, hey, this is how we can work around your issues, or this is, being empathetic is critical to be a coach.
Yeah. The other part of
sales.
The other part of sales with this is if they're in the door, like they've walked in the door, they've already made the decision.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 people that walk through this door sign up. 1 out of 10 don't, because they have this, I'm going to go check out all the other places, or they're not sure they have enough money to do it. They're not sure they can pay for it or afford it. But everybody else, the other 9, they've already in their mind signed up because they got through that door. Getting through the door of a CrossFit affiliate is intimidating. If they're small, part. You're going to be seen. You're not going to be able to hide out.
I mean, the amount of stories that I've heard of people pulling up into the parking lot and they see people running or carrying weights out. Like, no.
And then they leave.
But if they make it in the door, like you said,
in the door,
they've made that decision.
Yeah. Now you got to get them excited about and make them feel good about their decision that they've already made,
and show them the path of what they can follow. Right. Like this is for you, because this is for everybody. It's just a matter of attacking it in the appropriate manner.
Yeah. And keep your options. I'll get into a wholesale thing at some point on one of these deals that we do. Just keep your shit simple. Don't have too many options for them to choose from. Just make it simple. I've 17 years of doing this. The smaller your menu of items is to choose from.
And we've had quite the range of options.
Oh my God. Yeah. We figured it out. Monthly, annual. We don't even offer packs anymore. Just monthly and annual.
Yeah.
This is it. Boom. And if you want to start here, you got to do our startup PTs. Sorry.
Which is super helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have CrossFit experience, doing the startup it's a refresh.
And here's how much it costs.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. And if you don't like it, you can cancel and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's super. And
not going to hurt our feelings.
No. And that puts the onus on us to be really good so that you stay and you keep paying.
Yeah.
Anyway. On to the other reason we're going to get there. So we said being the most trusted partner for training, being scientifically verified, and then making CrossFit accessible to everyone. And then the next thing he said is, and I'm not sure how I lost
I was up front, so I might be able to help.
Well, I lost the flow of where this fell into everything as part of CrossFit's mission. He said affiliates are basically the centers for advancing the mission.
Yes.
And I agree with that. This is something I've harped upon in the past. So, we're the indoctrination centers for CrossFit. You come in, you learn about CrossFit, you get educated CrossFit, you learn what the CrossFit games are, you become fans of the sport, and maybe even you become a competitor to the sport. We're the indoctrination centers. And so the acknowledging that is important to me. And so I was glad he discussed it. And he said that within the affiliates, our coaches are the most trusted resource for training and education. And I like that too. And when we have our coach meeting on Wednesday, I'm going to talk about that they have an obligation. We as coaches have an obligation to remain a trusted resource for training and education. In other words, you can't just get your L1 or your L2 and be done with it. You have to constantly be educating yourself.
It's like you call it your fitness journey. There's always going to be hurdles, different things that you're going to come across, different obstacles, and the same goes for training. If you're training people, things change, evolve. You might learn new things, new methods of making something more efficient.
Absolutely.
And that's just going to come through more exposure to continued education and also practicing your craft.
After the discussion we had on obesity, the very difficult conversation we had on obesity and the pieces that I published, Athena Perez reached out to me.
Really?
Athena Perez was the focus of a documentary at CrossFit on her transformation from after severe emotional and even physical abuse as a child. She has suffered with or battling with obesity, and she took herself from I think like 400 pounds to under 200 pounds. She now helped CrossFit develop a large bodied athlete training program.
Yeah.
So she reached out to me. We had great discussion.
That's a perfect example of expanding your craft, right?
And
learning a new special population,
so,
and how to deal with it.
So we're trying to pick a date, and we're going to run that program here at the gym.
Awesome.
No, I think it's really cool because I learned that lesson about 4 or 5 years ago when I was at Alamo. I've told that story before about the woman that we were doing transformations, 6-week transformations, which those you can make fun of all you want, but the way we did them, it was really freaking
amazing.
Cool. It was amazing. And the one woman that came in, that she was, well over 300 pounds. And the first thing I had all the women do, I said, okay, let's all sit down on the floor and let's talk about, why we're here and what we're doing, introduce ourselves. And she had this horrified look on her face. She goes, I'm afraid to sit down. If I sit on the floor, I might not be able to get back up. And I was like, no problem. We'll help you get back up. Like, and I was first of all perplexed, like a dumbass. And then when we were all done talking, I just stood up with her and put my hand out to help her up. And she couldn't get up, and I couldn't lift her up. Like, it was like, and I literally started to sweat, dude. I was horrified. I was like, oh fuck, what do I do? I literally did not know what to do. My mind went boom. Okay, I can't. If I pull her arm any harder, I'm going to injure her.
Yeah.
And she had this look on her face. And Kyle Zosiah was with me there because he was helping coach. And he goes, hey, no problem. He goes, what I'd like you to do is turn over and can you get on all fours?
Showed her a skill.
Yeah. He goes, can you get on all fours? And she goes, yeah. And by now the whole class is watching, this whole group of women. There's like 8 or 9 women, other women there. And she rolled over on all fours. He goes, oh, good. He goes, now can you come up on your knees? Yes, came up on her knees. And then he goes, okay, now put the other leg up. And he goes, all right, now I'm going to help you. And he helped her up. And she was, she just had this like elation. And the other girls cheered.
I was just going to say.
And I was sitting there covered in sweat, just going, thank God Kyle was here. And I felt terrible.
That's such a cool story, though, because you have this group of women that are there for, different reasons. And that kind of experience, like you said, everybody's watching her and she has a success. Everybody else gets to see her have the success. Yeah. That's just going to help boost that overall camaraderie for the upcoming 6 weeks. Like that's the perfect way to start that kind of program.
Well, yeah.
I could see the challenge and the fear, but it's something that has to happen.
Which underlines the importance of, like, and we say it, what's on our website, our coaches are badass, and they're not badass because of their fitness. We have varied fitness levels among our coaches, but they're badass because they're passionate about CrossFit. They're passionate about education learning. They're constantly trying to improve. And so the next point, so we'll get off that. Let's move to the next point. He talked about, he goes, sponsor partners play a role. And this is an awkward
this got kind of weird.
Yeah, this got kind of a little weird. Sponsor partners play a role as long as, the way I interpreted it was, this is not his exact words, as long as they're united in our vision.
They align with what our values were.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I think with the sport of CrossFit, it's challenging. And
he did say that they've passed on a few very lucrative deals that because they didn't align with their values. I'm curious to know which ones that is.
Monster Energy was the big one 2 years ago. There are a number of these people, these players, and that, so for example, just an affiliate owner in Pleasanton, Zoltan Heights, he's very passionate about the sport of CrossFit and thinks CrossFit needs to do more. He's a former professional tennis player, so he recognizes the importance of having high-paying sponsors, big dollar sponsors to promote the sport. And it does help promote the sport. And it provides the financial resources to do things like regional events, which are really expensive. The problem is that people that align with our values don't necessarily have the money for, nor do they want to be sponsoring something like CrossFit competitions.
Yeah.
So we have to make it has to be, not only does they have a line, but what's unsaid by Don's words is that we have to provide them value in return. There's got to, and I know dealing with sponsors in Grid, what they want, when you do a presentation, when you ask a sponsor for money, they want a presentation of saying, okay, what's the return on our investment?
Yeah. What are we going to get out of this whole
process?
What
are we going to get? People do the Super Bowl ads because
The
Like,
traffic,
they run
the eyes.
that immediately shows up after the Super Bowl ad runs. Like they can measure the traffic to their website. They can measure the traffic to their social media. They can measure the purchases of the product for, the next 30 days. That directly reflect the impact of the media. And CrossFit has to be able to demonstrate that as well. Now, with shoe companies like an Obol or a Reebok, we know that there was an impact.
Yeah.
Where especially at the games itself, the Reebok store itself, I remember I heard at one point was doing up to $50,000 a day in sales at the event itself.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a challenge, but I do recognize the importance of sponsor partners. I don't want it to be Monster Energy. That's my opinion. I don't want it to be Snickers bars.
It's too much connection to NSCA.
Right. And NSCA, right. And then of course the unhealthy lifestyle that's, creating chronic disease.
The mess.
Yeah. So it was mentioned. There was some questions around it. We can talk about that later. And then CrossFit, they said CrossFit needs to be the recognized leader in the fitness ecosystem. And that's, right up there with the original mission, become the global recognized leader in advancing health and performance. I think what he's trying to say is among all fitness programs.
Orange Theories, boot camps,
Barry's Boot Camp, any of them that are out there.
Yeah.
CrossFit's the recognized leader. We sit at the top.
And as we should.
Yeah. And we were getting there we weren't there already, but we should be sitting there. And I'd love that. And then he talked about a long-term goal. Give a 2030 goal of, and I think I got there's 30 million CrossFitters, right?
No, well, that's the goal, is to have 30 million CrossFitters. I think he said right now we're at like 2 to 4 million.
Yeah. Which
how they get those numbers, it's challenging,
right?
Just because it's affiliates, right?
Yeah. Let me comment on this. The challenge here is going to be, how do you measure that?
Yeah.
What's what data do you have? And ideally CrossFit, and I noticed they're starting to gather the CrossFit ID. We went to this event. They wanted me to have my CrossFit ID. And I get that. That's an interesting way to start it. Everybody that does CrossFit has to get a CrossFit.
You want to run a licensed event, it has to have all CrossFit ID numbers.
Yeah. I suspect that they might tell affiliates, like, if you want to affiliate, all of your members, when they sign up with you, have to sign up with CrossFit.com and have a CrossFit affiliate, have a CrossFit ID. Okay.
But where does that go?
Okay. Well, no, but it's, it's helps them to measure it. Yeah. It does, shit. MindBody has all of our customer data.
That's true.
And MindBody's got, all kinds of fitness programs. So they just bought ClassPass. Oh, like everyone says, well, I don't want CrossFit to have the data. Fuck off.
They can get it if they need it.
Whatever program you're using, that data has been delivered and they've been your customers
they've been using it.
Your
already.
Customers have already been marketed to. Don't, CrossFit isn't any more nefarious than anybody else that's out there that's stolen their data and marketed all kinds of different things to them.
Use Google. It's out there.
Yeah. So, don't worry about CrossFit abusing the data. I don't mind CrossFit having my customer data. That's a whole separate rule. But anyway, 30 million CrossFitters. Okay, that's
it's a big number.
It's a big number, but it's also just words to me. I mean, it's like, okay, you need to show me proof of how you're going to get 30 million people doing CrossFit and that it's 30 million. I get it. There's millions of people doing CrossFit now around the world now, or have done CrossFit. I don't know if they're actively doing it. It's a number. It doesn't mean a whole lot to me, Diablo CrossFit. Here's what it does mean to me in terms of CrossFit as a whole, in terms of where I think their headspace is. The CrossFit ecosystem is the most valuable thing of CrossFit. We've talked about this multiple times. Our CrossFitters, CrossFit by and large is a natural filter for people that are passionate about something and have money to spend. Because CrossFit affiliates are expensive.
Yep.
CrossFit gear is expensive. You do CrossFit, it's expensive to do. And so it's a valuable, the ecosystem itself is incredibly valuable. Rogue has found this out. They're probably $1 billion company. We talked about in the past, RX Bar sold for $600 million,
3 times the amount of CrossFit sold.
Fit Aid is, probably I'm sure tens of millions of dollars, maybe more. But there's multiple companies that have come through CrossFit or have built their brand in the CrossFit world.
Noble.
And it certainly, and everyone will argue that it saved Reebok. I think there's, numerous content.
I don't think there's any doubt on that one.
Yeah, that CrossFit helped save Reebok.
Yeah.
And at one point when the Metcon was released, the Nike Metcon, I think for the first 2 years, it was the number one selling shoe within Nike.
Yeah.
Ahead of some of their basketball shoes.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's what, that's what I was, again, that's secondhand. So that's not, I can't verify that data, but that was through an athlete and their agent, or that was a sponsored Nike athlete, and their contact at Nike told that individual that. So, but I'm certain it moved the needle enough at Nike, to produce 8 or 9 or 10 years of shoes.
That's true.
So far.
That's true. So, I mean, how many Metcons do they have out there now?
Yeah, like 5, 6.
How many variations of Romelios have they done?
Yeah, that's right.
The Olympic lifting shoe.
So anyway, the ecosystem, the point being is that the ecosystem of CrossFit, the community of CrossFit is exceptionally valuable. And so what this tells me is 30 million CrossFitters is these are 30 million customers
for other
that are loyal to the brand.
Yeah.
Which means that other products, other companies coming through that are into that ecosystem, probably going to be, getting a lot do well.
Yeah.
And which gives the investors the opportunity to perhaps launch and deliver their own companies into that ecosystem. So that's and that word ecosystem was mentioned multiple times. I think Don said it 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not against that. I think that's valuable. That's really where I think the true value of CrossFit is.
Mm-hmm. Outside of
monetary value,
changing lives.
Yeah, no. I mean monetary, monetary value.
Yeah,
only. So it's interesting to see that kind of being talked about quite a bit within this presentation.
Yeah.
2023 business objectives were to get more people in the doors of affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while, affiliates. If you're all think, oh, that's great, that's awesome.
It's not going to turn over.
And you're going to don't get pissed off if 6 months from now, someone's not walking in the door going, oh, I saw a CrossFit commercial.
I think though,
and here I am, or I saw CrossFit on social media and here I am. I'm here this stuff takes time.
But when you say that though, this is, like you said, it takes time. So during that time, get your shit together, get all of your issues, any of the imperfections in your affiliate, like practicing virtuosity, get your education up, get your coaching staff on point, figure out your processes. So that way, when people do come into your doors, they're going to have a good first experience.
It's funny you say that, because that's the thing that I said to Nicole Carroll when they were talking about coaching development. I said, one of the issues that coaches have is actually they don't have enough coaches, and they're having trouble finding coaches.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, maybe we need to, deliver some sort of program or train these coaches on how to search for coaches within their own community.
Yeah.
And recruit coaches within their own community, and how to go about that process. And I said, absolutely. Because you guys are launching some really quality stuff. The stuff that is coming out of CrossFit Media right now, along the lines of the magic of CrossFit and the stories that are being told are really good. And we are going to start seeing more people come in.
And with the rate of affiliates closing or de-affiliating, whatever's going on, as you see a ramp up of people coming in because of this awesome content they're putting out there, we need to be prepared.
Oh yeah. We are since about the middle of December to today, we have 1 to 2 new people a day coming in to do tours of Diablo a day. We got 2 today, another one tomorrow already booked on our schedule. 1 to 2 people a day coming in to tour the CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's as a result of local affiliates that have closed, but it's also a result of friends and family of people here in our gym, people going out and telling the story. And here's how this works in terms of CrossFit's media branding. They're not going to be doing commercials like, look for your local CrossFit affiliate today.
Yeah.
And here's a coupon for you to get a discount on your membership. It's going to be CrossFit telling the story of what's happening in the affiliates, the success stories, the amazing transformations, the talking about the quality of the education system, the trainers and the coaches, right? And how CrossFit is improving health and helping cure chronic disease. Those are the stories going to be told, so that when Jamie Lee goes home from his class or goes to work, and someone says, "Man, dude, you're looking good." "Yeah, I'm doing CrossFit." "Are you doing CrossFit? How do you like it?" And you'll say, "Well, I love it, man. I got a great community." And they're like, "Yeah, but I don't think I have anyone near me, or, it's not the same. I can't go because it's too far away." And you say, "Well, you just Google it and find out." And then that person goes online and Googles it, and then boom, up pops the magic of CrossFit.
Yeah.
Right. Plus the closest CrossFit. And they watch that video like, "Oh shit, this is good."
Yeah.
And then they find that local CrossFit affiliate and then they join. That's how this happens. And that takes time.
Rodale just shared the first time he visited CrossFit was an open house, 2007. Coach Sarah was 34 weeks pregnant and climbing up and down a 15-foot rope. That's a perfect example. Like,
it is a perfect example.
I mean, you come into a CrossFit gym and you're going to get exposed to people doing real shit.
Yeah. And
for the good of their health.
And guess what? That's going to be you at some point in time.
You just got to step through those doors.
Yeah. Just got to.
The hardest part is get through those doors.
So that's how the process is going to go. Yeah. It's going to take time. You're not going to have people bull rushing your doors, but I bet 6 months from now, like you said, a year from now, you're going to all of a sudden, wow, man, we're getting a lot of people coming in. Well, we're getting way more in our, Tim Dimmel over at CrossFit Palo Alto does every 2 weeks, he does a intro class. Like instead of, 6 people, he's
like a free class.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
That free class, right. He does it all. And anybody that's new has to go to the free class, and he's going to get 10, he's going to get 15, he's going to get 20 people in that class. Yeah. And pretty soon he's going to be like, oh crap. Right. I need someone to help me.
Yeah.
And so those are the things I think for affiliate owners, get ready now. Cause they're committed to this. They're going to spend money. They're going to do it. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the investors may not be CrossFitters. I don't know if they are or not, but they're not stupid. You got 200 million to put into a CrossFit. You obviously done something right in your life. Yeah. They know what's going to work to drive people in the doors here.
Yeah.
Don't discount Don Fall and his education and the experience that he has behind him and the people that he brings on board. They're going to figure out how to do it. So get ready. If you get caught with your pants down.
Yeah. That's essentially what I'm trying to say.
That's fucking your fault.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of CrossFit gyms out there. And one of the things Glassman said, the cream will rise to the top. If somebody shows up in your doors and you're not ready and you give them here's the workout of the day. This is what we're going to do. Come on in next week or whatever. They're going to go to another gym that's going to make them feel more comfortable.
That's absolutely right. And hopefully it's a freaking another CrossFit.
Hopefully. Yeah. Exactly. Great point.
Let me see. More people in the doors fits. We're not getting through this very fast at all. What time is it? How long have we been on?
We're on 53 minutes.
Right now. My God. This was supposed to go much quicker than this. Sorry, everybody.
This is good stuff though. I mean, granted, that seminar was the first one, and I'll just say that it was the first one. I feel like they're working out their bugs. They're trying to figure out, like, the Q&A was the best part, and I was only able to make it through the first half, but the Q&A was honestly the best part.
Yeah.
From an OG standpoint, to know, like, we've seen where CrossFit was, and we saw the trajectory that it was making, and then we did hit a hurdle in 2014. That was all due to NSCA saying CrossFit is dangerous.
Right.
The one thing that really stood out to me when Don was saying that we won't back down from something, in the sense of, we are the best at what we do, and there's no question about it, because it is an evidence-based program. We're not going to back down. They will basically, HQ will hold the ground for us.
Yes.
To help us get more people in the doors.
Good. I hope so. I want to see that.
Me too. And that comes back down to, how are we holding them accountable?
Yeah.
That was one of the questions.
Yeah, that was one of the questions. All right, let's go. Let's get. We're not even there yet. How we'll get there was change of misperception. Share the stories from CrossFit affiliates around the world. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry. Business objectives being exceptional. Oh, we only got through more people through the doors of affiliates. So there's three primary business objectives: make more people through the doors of affiliates, be an exceptional custodian of the CrossFit brand. So that to me means that Don was listening when I spoke to him.
Yeah,
because I had an opportunity, and other people spoke to him, and Sivan has been, and Matt Souza have been saying this on their podcast.
Driving it home.
Yeah. Just make the brand amazing.
Yeah.
Make the brand amazing. Take care of the brand. Be good custodians of the brand. Make sure that when people go to CrossFit and they see CrossFit, they're getting the right messages you want them to get. And then we talked about this already, make CrossFit accessible to everyone. And so that's part of their 2023 business objectives as well. That's awesome. I think accessible to everyone means, by the way, just to caveat on that, give some clarity. I believe in talking to people at CrossFit, it means accessible at the affiliate level. The media represents all levels of athletes, from ages to color to anything else that you can show on a video. Like it needs to represent all
everybody under the sun.
I don't have any problem with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I want everyone to look at a video, CrossFit video, and identify with it.
Yeah. And
go, okay, cool. This shit's going to work and it's going to change my life. That's great. I also think that it means accessible to everyone means they're going to have some online stuff.
Yeah.
Content.
Like at home.
Yeah. So people can do it at home,
which is not that difficult.
Right. I mean, look at this. Why is street parking so damn successful? Other than Miranda, Alcaraz, and Julian are amazing people, amazing marketers, just super transparent. I don't know. They're all around just great people. And they've built an awesome company. Other than that is you can do the shit at home.
Yeah.
With your kids in tow. Like you can bring it's convenient. And while it's functional, they don't emphasize the measurable, repeatable aspect. It is measurable and repeatable, but in terms of scorekeeping, they're just get the workout in. I don't care how fast
don't put too much effort.
Don't need to post your scores.
Not too much focus, not too much heart into what your score was. It's just get the work done.
Yeah, and get it done as best as possible. But anyway, so I think we're going to see something from CrossFit to make it easier for people that don't have an affiliate near them to do CrossFit. Mm-hmm. And that's great. I think that's fine. Those people, when a CrossFit affiliate, when one of those people is probably going to end up opening an affiliate, and then they'll capture those people that want the next level. Like they want to be able to climb a 15-foot rope. They want to be able to drop bumper plates without worrying about their garage floor. They want to be able to get really good Olympic lifting coaching. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what's going to happen there. But anyway, that's speculation. How we'll get there. And Don talked about this, and I really like this presentation too. Share the stories from affiliates around the world. And again, that means to me that he was listening because we've heard that multiple times. That's something Sivan has been preaching as well. Tell the stories. Amazing shit's happening in the affiliates. We've seen it, and we're already starting. We know it. Yeah, and it's already starting to show up in the Magic of CrossFit videos. We know these things, and so there's tons of content. Like CrossFit's got an abundance of content available for them.
Yeah,
and so that's cool. This is interesting. Change the misperceptions of CrossFit. And I don't necessarily know that needed a bullet point in the presentation.
Trying to remember how that came up.
Yeah. Well, it's, and the few affiliate owners asked the questions, like, people perceive this as being unsafe. And the misperception, the misperceptions of CrossFit are validated by acknowledging them.
Yeah.
And I don't even acknowledge them. Then that's maybe I'm just being, maybe I'm in denial about it, but changing the misperceptions of CrossFit, I think, comes from sharing the stories of the affiliates and then highlighting and promoting the quality of the training programs. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really, but that's on there, and they want to change any misperceptions that may be out there about CrossFit being not safe, or CrossFit not working, as well as other things, or any of those things, or not high quality. Grow the CrossFit ecosystem. Agreed.
Ecosystem there again.
Yeah, there it is. Bigger it is, the more shit you can sell in it.
Yeah.
Look at the sport of CrossFit through the lens of growing the ecosystem. So that's from the sport of CrossFit. So and I actually like this one, this aspect of the sport. Instead of like promoting the sport for the sport or promoting the sport for the athletes, to pay the athletes more, to make the sport more professional for the athletes, or to drive more income for the athletes. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at that sport as fueling a desire for people to want to do the same thing.
Yeah.
They see the sport and they're like, I want to do that. That can change my life. That's what I need. And then I want to participate in CrossFit. I don't want to just watch it. I want to do it.
Yeah.
That's growing the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. That was a bullet point in that presentation. That let's look at the sport through the lens of growing the ecosystem. Build strong affiliates and coaches. Agree with fight for affiliates around the world. I like that too.
That's where I meant like holding it down, not backing down from other challengers and whatnot.
Right. He mentioned specifically in that people that were doing or even have CrossFit, using the CrossFit name without permission.
Yeah. Going after that.
Yeah. Going after those people. And so he did talk about being willing to do that. I need to reach out to them about there is an actual Diablo CrossFit in Mexico City, Mexico.
For real?
Yeah. They have a website and everything.
What?
I sent, or they have an Instagram too. I sent them a message on Instagram and said, hey,
it's taken.
It's taken. And I didn't want to be a dick about it. Just, I almost considered it like a badge of honor. Like our affiliate is so successful that there's someone has copied it entirely. Yeah. And I think I found it because I was doing an Instagram search for Diablo CrossFit. It's, and because I was on my Instagram, not Diablo's Instagram. And I was like, I typed Diablo. I'm like, Diablo CF, what the hell? And sure enough, it was a Diablo. It was a CrossFit.
Well, is it a CrossFit?
Well,
because
no,
that's a perfect example. Like,
no.
And this is where CrossFit would have to step up.
And they said, as soon as I sent them that message, he goes, hey, I'm sorry. We're sorry. We'll change. So,
but does that mean that they're CrossFit affiliated?
No, they're not.
Exactly. So it's like, this is where CrossFit has to kind of come in and maintain
and that's
standards.
And that's going to be expensive and difficult in foreign countries. Yeah.
That's true.
So it's because you got to hire people. Like dealing with trademark issues in foreign countries, that's a whole, it's a whole ball of wax. Yeah. The abuse in Asia in particular is terrible for all companies, not just CrossFit.
Yeah. Technology.
I remember that was the big challenge when fast food companies first went to Asia. That there were literally like Kentucky Fried Chickens and Burger Kings and McDonald's that were open in Asia. Remember the Apple stores? Yeah. There were Apple stores in China.
I remember that. Yeah.
That literally they built them to look like an Apple store that had no affiliation with Apple. and I get it. Those countries have no real motivation to crack down on that, to prevent that. Right. Because it's commerce that's happening. If some company here opened up its doors and was copying a Chinese company, a well-known, respected Chinese company, most people wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even. We would go to it. I'd go shop at it. I wouldn't have no idea that it was some famous brand in India or China. Like it's because we're centric to our own country. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the challenge that CrossFit's going to face is chasing that kind of stuff down. And then but they did say they would fight for affiliates around there. Now this is something also, by the way, I would just want to make one more point on this. That Glassman and their attorneys did very, very well. Not just defending the brand from trademark infringement, but also defending the brand from attack by organizations like, and we keep bringing it up, the NSCA. But then other by the food and beverage companies that who through their investments in other organizations deliberately try to undermine and attack CrossFit. And then also at the legislative level in states and maybe even at the federal level is prohibiting activities related to fitness instruction and nutrition instruction, especially, unless you have a certain certification or license.
They wanted us to all be licensed in order to teach an air squat.
Yeah. And that I think is super important for CrossFit to defend. Defend the ability to do CrossFit, to be a CrossFit affiliate.
That might be one of the most important topics.
And I wish, there's a lot of affiliates that have no idea what CrossFit did for them on that front.
That's very true.
And fought hard.
It's been a big battle.
Yeah, it has been a big battle. Reinvest in the craft. And he talked about this briefly. He goes, look, there's, if you're running an affiliate, you have to invest back in your business to make your business successful. So do we. Yeah. We have to invest back in our business. In the training department and the, in hiring and the resources that they need in order to get stuff done. So they're going to do that in 2023. Strengthen their culture. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know that I was listening that well.
I think the strengthen the culture part was coming back down to like the kind of stories that they're sharing. Just back to the magic of CrossFit and that push to put out what stories that are happening within the communities.
The last point he made was how they're going to get there is be transparent about their decisions.
Yeah.
That's going to be a challenge for them. Fuck, it was difficult for
him.
He
said transparent to an extent. Because there's certain things like they can't share the data number. Like they can't share like how many affiliate numbers are out there.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. Did he say he couldn't share that?
He said that. Yeah. They were saying, what was it? The question was.
Well, I know what the question was.
Well, the question to him was, how are you going to be transparent so we can hold you accountable? And he said, well, we'll be transparent to a point because we can't just share all of our statistics and numbers. Like that's just not a wise move from a business standpoint.
I get that.
But he said that we will, do everything we can to kind of help be transparent so you can hold us accountable.
Right. That's a good point. I'm not interested in sharing how much money we make here at the Outlaw.
Yeah.
I think our members don't need to know, and it's just awkward. Like, because then people make opinions about how money should be spent or not spent, whether we charge too much or don't charge much or any of that stuff. Like I do it, so there is a limitations to transparency.
Yeah.
The one question that was asked almost immediately after the presentation was, how many affiliates do you have?
Yeah.
That's a question that irks me about when I get it from members here. Hey, how many members do you have? And it used to bug me a lot. And it doesn't bug me as much anymore. But primarily, and I used to tell people the reason why people ask that is they want to know how much money we're making.
Yeah.
Because you can do simple math. Oh, okay. Well, you have 450 members and times that by the number of how much your memberships are, and boom, they come pretty damn close to.
Doesn't come down to what your expenses are.
No, it doesn't.
And what the churn could
and
be.
That's the thing. Yeah. So it's the same thing, CrossFit. And I guess I'll give CrossFit some leeway there. I was irked by the answer because they just danced around the answer to that question.
Yeah. Well, Don did say 13,000 at one point.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. He did say 13,000 at one point.
Yeah,
and that we were losing up to 30 affiliates.
No, that was Austin said that. They were losing up to 30 at one point. 30 affiliates a month in the US.
Yeah.
And that's slowed. They're not growing affiliates in the US.
Yeah, but it's growing outside of the country.
But and I think with respect to transparency, the whole story is that's normal for any fast growth company that grew really, really rapidly from 2014 to 2018.
Yeah,
super fast, and affiliates were put on board left and right, and now they are at the 6 to 8 year mark in their tenure. And they're tired, burned out. They're not where they want to be. They had to go through the pandemic, all that stuff, which is normal for any business, not just a CrossFit affiliate. So of course they had so many out there, they got more to lose.
Yeah.
And until they start telling the story and doing all the other stuff we just described, it's going to take a little while before that ship is righted and turned on the right course.
Yeah.
He had 2 asks of the affiliates, 2 things that he wanted the affiliates to do. I don't think it's too much to ask. The one affiliate owner messaged me this morning after he saw, because I posted this content on my social media, and he said, "Well, they shouldn't they first deliver people through the door before they start asking us to do stuff?" Like, okay.
You're missing the point, man.
Just like the people just have.
I gotcha.
I can't even.
I get you.
I can't even.
But what are the 2 asks?
All right, sorry. Here are the 2 asks. He said, our role is to get people in the door. Your role is virtuosity.
Yeah.
Create a better member experience.
Yeah.
And what's cool is you and I know we've talked about this Kaizen.
Yeah.
I constantly think about when I walk in here every day, I'm like, how do I make this place better? How do I make this place better?
Mhm.
How do I make myself better? And that's really what he wants, is virtuosity in affiliate operation. So make your affiliate the best affiliate you can possibly make it. Have a good onboarding system, have a good training protocols, have great coaches, continually educate those coaches, making sure you're upholding movement standards, make sure that you are defending and exploiting and defending the CrossFit methodology within your affiliate. Mm-hmm. That's virtuosity.
Yep.
And I think that's an awesome expectation.
Yeah.
That's my ask.
I feel like that should be just given in order to have a successful affiliate.
Damn right it is. And then pay it forward. So he said, and if he goes, instead of complaining to us about other affiliates that aren't doing it,
help them out.
This was Nicole Carroll's person that spoke, and forgive me for not knowing her name. And she spoke, and she said the same thing. It's up to you as a leader, as an affiliate owner, to go out, and if you see it, don't complain about it. Maybe offer help.
Yeah.
With for other affiliates, to help make their affiliates better, to help make their coaches better, to offer. I was seeing if Nicole had responded to my message. She didn't, but it's up to you as an affiliate owner to help your affiliate owners succeed. And that's something, I kind of, I'm not tooting my own horn. It's just, it's a kind of a pay it forward
You've
thing.
already started this by doing the calls,
right,
and
the calls.
mentoring.
And it's not a hard thing to do. There's we've loaned out our coaches essentially to other affiliates that need it.
Yeah.
There are just little things that you can do that help your fellow affiliate get better what they do. And I think the most important thing you could do, you don't call up and offer help, because that can be kind of condescending, is get together for coffee.
Yeah. That's
something I've been doing with affiliate owners for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. Is from time to time and just, reach out and here or there. I don't do it on a regular basis, but just let's grab coffee.
Yeah.
And talk. There's CrossFit Pleasanton, CrossFit Danville. Even I did it when I was the short period of time as the regional affiliate rep. But sweatshop at others as well. And then, I have conversations with the local affiliate owners.
Yeah.
I want those affiliates. I don't want affiliates to close around me. I want affiliates to be open.
The more affiliates, the stronger the ecosystem.
Yeah. We don't get to 30 million CrossFitters with only a handful of affiliates.
No, it doesn't work.
No. So I want them to be successful. And then, if they're struggling or they want to get out, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Find someone to carry the torch for you in that affiliate. Set up
some kind of way to keep
some sort of transition plan where you can sell it and keep the affiliate going and doing the work of CrossFit.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wasn't offended by either of those asks. I was actually motivated by it. And I think those are minimum standards. I also told Nicole Carroll and Austin Meliolo that I think that CrossFit, not this year, but maybe beginning next year, is that they need to hold affiliates accountable to the virtuosity.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean
secret shoppers.
And I posted it on my Twitter today that CrossFit, being a CrossFit affiliate owner is a privilege. And I told them that CrossFit, that they need to start thinking about that as well.
Yeah.
Meaning if there are affiliates that are not upholding the standards and doing the things that just should be doing to represent the brand, then they need to maybe think about removing affiliation from those individuals.
Yeah.
Which is a motivating factor.
Yeah.
I know in managing, especially managing salespeople, 25 years, you always have the top third, the middle third, and the bottom third. And if you allowed, you of course provide all the support and training and help to make the lower third better so that they can rise to the top of the pack. But if they don't, like, keeping them on board inhibits others, the top performers. Top performers are like, well, why is this person even still here? Why are we, why are you dedicating so many resources and trying to help them out when I'm out doing the job and I'm carrying the load? I want support. I want attention. I want all of those things. And I think the same thing is true with, at some point in time, granted, affiliate owners have been through a lot of shit over the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Especially the last 2. But I think if CrossFit starts culling the herd, the lower end, it will embolden those at the top, like, Diablo and others. And it will motivate others to start to do their part.
Yeah.
And it'll also force a lot of people to make a decision. Do I really want to be in this? Do I really want to be a CrossFit affiliate?
Yeah.
But I think it is important that that CrossFit have standards as well. If you're not meeting those standards, you get a fucking no rep.
Yeah.
No rep means
no rep.
you're going to get a notification.
Yeah. Strike or something.
I've got a couple of, by the way, Don, if you want to reach out to me, I got a couple ideas on how to do that. To make it essentially an automatic process, a way to hold affiliates accountable without having to do visits to all the affiliates. There's ways to do that. So I can share that on another podcast.
Yeah.
What else about let's talk about the question and answers. Do you remember any of the questions that were asked by people?
A couple of questions. I mean, we kind of hit a bunch of the points on the bullet points. One of the questions that came up was like schools, youths, like how are we going to try to, I mean, Don talked a lot about the fact that like pharmaceutical companies are starting to push towards making our kids take medication or surgeries because they're, obese or whatever the case is. How is CrossFit planning on, assisting with fighting against that to help people live healthy?
Right.
And somebody asked about how, like Matt Schindledecker's program out in Ohio and how that's starting to pop up, and that kind of came up, but it didn't really go anywhere with that.
Right. Well, I think the answer that came up, because that question came up during during the coach development section.
Okay.
And the answer that was given was like, you got to start the process.
Yeah.
You, the affiliate owner, have to start the process.
Yeah.
And then reach out to us, contact us and let us know when you need help.
Yeah.
Or if you need help.
So I think I did, last week I did the CrossFit athlete centered around mental health and trauma.
Yeah. The trauma
seminar.
Training.
Trauma training.
Yep.
When we talk about as a coach, to be a good, efficient coach or effective coach, is you got to have some emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Right. So I see that certification, that seminar that I went through, teaching just that. Right. You can have somebody that knows all the mechanics, all the movement patterns, all the progressions. But if you don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that maybe somebody's been through some shit and they can't get past that point to make that adjustment that you're trying to give them as a coach, that is a awesome way to go through and just gain a different perspective on how to coach from a emotional standpoint, right? Because it's not just yelling at somebody or pointing touching their knees to push the knees out because maybe somebody doesn't want to be touched,
right?
Maybe they've been through some abuse and that's triggering for them.
Yeah.
But I think like CrossFit maybe promoting a little bit more seminars around that stuff, or even schools, and I understand that we have to maybe prove concept, but my question to CrossFit would be like, say we get this started, how can we get other affiliates to jump on board? Because that's going to be one way we're going to be able to get to 30 million CrossFitters and have a real impact on the future of our society.
Dave's program that he has with the military right now and growing that is obviously another rapid way, right? Because you get a large captive audience that has to do it.
Yeah.
And the same thing if it's in the schools, right? You get a very large captive audience at a young age. Now there's the challenges of dealing with all of the school administrators
Yeah.
and then dealing with the unions as well that may
Yeah.
or may not want, this type of program in there because it may usurp a, opportunity, a teaching opportunity for a physical education teacher, all of those things. My point being that it really takes strong initiative. Like you have to work hard as an affiliate owner. If that's something you want to do, work hard within your school district.
Yeah.
And then raise your hand
Mhm.
and reach out to either other affiliates to help you, to come on board with you, or reach out to, let's put these region managers, the Katie Hogans, to work.
Yeah.
Reach out to them. Katie would email. Katie's
email.
brilliant about emailing back. Just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm having trouble with. What do I do? She'll respond.
Yeah.
So I think that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
CrossFit doesn't have the resources at this time to dedicate reresources to do that for us.
For sure. But having the education available, and from I reached out to Matt to ask like, hey, because I've already talked to a few other affiliate owners and coaches that are interested in this seminar, and I couldn't find any information on any future seminars. And
seminar dates.
He's like, yeah, well, right now it's just kind of waiting on the approval process to see if this was good, if CrossFit's going to keep this on board. And I really hope that they do, because I think there's a lot of, I think that's a whole nother skill set as a coach, is having that emotional intelligence to at least be able to help somebody continue coming through that door.
Oh, no question. The next, the other question that came up was what related to the 30 million users, and that is, or 30 million CrossFitters. Like, someone asked, what are your milestones for that? Yeah. That was good. That was a really good question. Because I want to, that's all, hey,
what are the checkpoints?
And the answer was convoluted and I didn't really get a really solid answer.
No, there was a couple like really.
It was kind of like it was kind of like more like, you'll know when we know. Yeah. Like
we'll figure that out when we get there.
Like, that's the thing about making bold projections like that. It's like, okay, tell us, well, how are we going to do it?
Yeah,
using the CrossFit ID system, we'll know that there's 30 million people doing it.
Yeah,
30 million people are going to log onto the blog and go, hey,
is there a new member tracking system coming out that we don't know about yet?
So I thought that was a good question that didn't get answered. And I bet CrossFit gets better at answering that. Like you said, this is the first run at this.
Yeah. And it sounds like there's a whole bunch of them to come.
The question that I asked that I thought was a very good question was, who are the investors and what are they holding you accountable for? You and your
This is a really good question, because that's something that anybody that's been following is curious about.
Yeah. And his answer was that the investors are keenly interested in the success of their investment.
Yeah.
And that they have seen Don's plan and agree with what he has presented to them, and they've given him essentially the runway to execute. And they are comfortable with the methodology and the affiliates essentially being the forefront of this messaging for CrossFit.
That's huge.
And not necessarily just dollars in the door.
Yeah.
And so that was, it was a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
He was still, there's still there's a lack of essentially clarity around who the investors are. And that's necessary. And it is, but the investors don't want their names out there. They and they don't want it to be known who they are. Like that's the money world. But he did say that he has their support, and that they that he sought their validation of this plan before he even presented it to us. So that makes me comfortable for the time being. I don't see them derailing it, and I don't think there's anything nefarious going on with that group. He's got time to make this work. And granted, you and I both know this. If the ecosystem grows, there's a massive opportunity. There's a massive opportunity with a large ecosystem where you're and especially if you have all of that information about who those users are.
Yeah.
It's massively valuable.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
anything else?
I mean, the only thing I just wanted to throw out there is if there's any affiliates out there listening to this or have the opportunity to get to one of these events, I would recommend it because, the information's good, but not even as good as bumping shoulders with other affiliate owners because that's how we get better. It's a team.
I'll actually be a little bit more abrasive about it. You don't get room to complain about any of this, about any of the commentary that Don makes or, anything that's happening. You can take a Saturday and get your ass to these things are important. You haven't, here is the opportunity to meet with and have a discussion with Nicole Carroll. Stood there the whole day. And
I had no idea those guys were all going to be there.
No, that
was kind of wild.
Well, no, she did that in the follow-up email. That's because you didn't get my email. I didn't forward the email to you because I knew that they were going to be there.
Got it.
But even it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't fucking matter that you didn't know. No. You knew that it was going to be an important event that you wanted to be at, right? An affiliate owner should see this and go, how many of these things have happened in the past? None. Okay. Well, I bitch about CrossFit a lot, not doing what I wanted to do. Here's an opportunity to go and meet all these people. Yeah. And only that, and it was, look, Nicole Carroll was there the whole day, and there was many times where she was just standing there with no one talking to her. And anytime anybody went up to talk to her, they had her 100% attention.
That's kind of wild because I would not have imagined that to be the case.
Same with Adrian Bosman. He was there the whole day, had any opportunity to go up and talk to Adrian Bosman. Dave Castro was there in the morning, could have gone up and talked to him. And Don Fall was there. There's multiple times where Don was there and no one was talking to him.
Yeah.
Could have gone up and talked to Don Fall. So that is your fucking fault if you're an affiliate owner and you don't go to those things. You don't take advantage of it. Oh, because I had to do this. I had to
make it a point.
This is your fucking business.
This is the future of the company.
If you want to know how I have relationships and you want to, and people have called me up to hey, can you find out about this from CrossFit? The only reason I have these relationships and have built these things that I can leverage and talk is because I went to these things all the time.
Yeah.
Because I knew that a personal contact with these people at some point in time. I wanted to know how I always want to know how the shit's. I want to know how the sauce is being cooked, right? Yeah. And I want to know who's running, and I want to make sure that that if there's a chance for me to have a little bit of influence in what my business is going to do, the thing that I have 100% of my life invested in. Yeah, I want to be able to influence it if I can. So I'm going to go out and go to these things. Same thing. You have an opportunity here to go to one of these things, and you don't go, you don't get a bitch.
Yeah,
you don't get a complaint. You didn't go to that meeting.
It's a really good point. There's a lot of them that come. So
you can argue with me all you want on it. I'm still gonna, in the back of my mind, think, fuck, you should have been there.
No, I think that's a better way to put it than the way I said it.
If you really, really care, that your business segment, that CrossFit's not doing something. Yeah, go to the meeting.
Don't bitch about CrossFit.
No,
show
corner
up
Don and go, Don, hey,
something.
damn, I need more of this.
Yeah,
and don't bitch to me either. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
He'll clip that one out for you.
Yeah. I know. People are probably right now. I noticed I got a bunch of messages. They're probably, oh shit, how do I take that message back?
All right. Well, that was good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next time, guys.
All right. Cheers.